You've been hunting for a gaming laptop that won't feel like a paperweight on the couch, that won't drain your wallet the minute you pull the plug, and that actually lets you jump into a title and stay there for hours without the heat pipe kicking in and turning your desk into a sauna. I get that hesitation spending a big chunk of cash on a machine that looks impressive on paper but ends up feeling like a compromise in everyday life is a real risk. That's why I've spent the last week testing the ASUS ROG Strix SCAR 15, not just reading the spec sheet but actually running it through the kind of daily grind most gamers face: late-night raids, long-form creative sessions, and a few work-related tasks thrown in for good measure. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the thing that most people notice right away is the 15.6-inch 300Hz FHD IPS panel. In a real-world setting, that high refresh rate really shines when you're playing fast-paced shooters or battle royals. I ran a few 20-minute matches of Apex Legends and the motion felt buttery smooth. The frame time stayed consistently low, which is something you can actually feel when you're tracking an opponent's head movement. It's not just a marketing number on a 1080p screen, you're also getting a bright, fairly color-accurate image that works for streaming or video editing without needing an external monitor. The heart of this machine is the AMD Ryzen 9 5900HX paired with an RTX 3080. In practice, that combo translates to a laptop that can hold its own against a mid-range desktop GPU. I launched Cyberpunk 2077 at medium settings with ray tracing turned on, and the game held steady around 55 frames per second. That's respectable for a portable device and means you can actually enjoy newer titles without constantly dialing everything down to low. The 32GB of DDR4 RAM feels generous. I could have dozens of browser tabs open, run Photoshop, and still have room for a few games in the background without swapping. Storage is another area where the SCAR 15 tries to justify its price tag. A 1TB SSD gives you room for a solid library of AAA titles, and the NVMe speeds mean load times are practically instantaneous. I watched a game load from 0 to playable in under 10 seconds, which is a tangible improvement over older laptops that take a minute or more just to get to the main menu. For anyone who streams or records, that quick storage access also reduces the chance of stutter when you're writing large video files. Now, the real test for any high-performance laptop is how it handles heat. ASUS has packed an efficient cooling system with multiple heat pipes and a dual-fan setup. In my day-long testing, the fans never hit a screaming 5,000 revolutions per minute, but they did ramp up noticeably during intense moments like when I was pushing the RTX 3080 to its limit in Red Dead Redemption 2. The laptop stayed under 85°C, which is hot but manageable, and the chassis didn't become uncomfortable to touch. The only downside is that the fan noise becomes a bit distracting in quiet environments. If you're gaming in a shared living room or a small apartment late at night, you might want to keep the volume a little lower or use headphones. The keyboard is marketed as Opti-Mechanical with PA-key RGB. In practice, the keys feel like a hybrid between a mechanical switch and a scissor mechanism, clicky enough to give you feedback but not as loud as a full-size mechanical board. For gamers who rely on tactile response, it's a pleasant middle ground. The PA-key lighting is more than just a visual flourish. I set up custom zones for my favorite MMO, and the colors change automatically when I switch profiles. It's a small quality of life feature that actually saves a few seconds during hectic raids. Wireless connectivity is solid, with Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2. I tested the laptop on a 5 GHz network while streaming a 1080p video on Twitch, and the upload stayed consistently above 9 megabits per second with no hiccups. The Bluetooth connection paired seamlessly with my controller and headphones, which is handy when you want to hop onto a couch-friendly session without digging out a separate dongle. Who should consider buying this machine? If you're a serious gamer who wants a portable rig that can tackle current AAA releases at respectable settings, and you also need a workhorse for creative tasks like video editing or 3D rendering, the SCAR 15 hits a sweet spot. It's also a good fit for streamers who appreciate the built-in webcam and the ability to run OBS alongside a game without a noticeable dip in performance. The combination of a high-refresh display, strong CPU pairing, and ample RAM makes it future-proof for the next couple of years, assuming you don't expect to run 4K Ultra settings on every title. On the other hand, if you're primarily after a laptop for casual indie games, or you're sensitive to fan noise and prefer a quieter workspace, you might find the SCAR 15 overkill. Its size and weight, around 5.5 pounds, make it less convenient for daily commuting compared to a thinner Ultrabook. And if your budget is tighter, you could look at